Here, Daddy.
I'm trying to get ready for this. Wait,
Take the key.
need it?
No, take the key.
Why do I need this?
Just in case you need pop.
Okay. Right, you guys need to be quiet because we're doing this, okay? Good evening, everybody. Hope you're all having a great Wednesday. We'll give it a couple minutes for a few people to come on.
All right, I'm trying to get.
If you're able to have your video on, it'd be great to see everybody's faces tonight. If not, I understand. I'm on plenty of Zooms where it doesn't work out, so. Hi, Diana. Mallory, thanks for joining us. Where are you guys calling in from tonight?
South Dakota.
South Dakota, all right.
South Dakota.
There she is.
Representing South Dakota tonight. I love it. Area, Kentucky, cool. Awesome, awesome. Well, we'll get started here in just a second. Gilbert, Arizona. Awesome. I was just in Arizona a week or so ago in Tempe area for the Aligned Wealth Experience for my agency that I'm a part of. It was nice when I was there last August. It was 110, 115. It was only up to 90 there, so it was nice and cool. All right, well, cool. I think haven't seen too many more people pop in here last 30 seconds or so. So let's go ahead and get started. My wife Elizabeth is here with us, so we'll tag team the call tonight. I'll let her kind of start us off with setting expectations, just so kind of have an idea. Before I jump it over to her, I recognize a couple names and a couple faces. Livy, I see you on. Good to see you again. If you were on a month ago or even 2 weeks ago, put a 2 in the chat. If this is your first night seeing us or being on any of our calls, put a 1 in the chat. Just kind of get an idea of who's a returning member of the community versus somebody that hasn't been on yet to see us. So a bunch of 2s. Awesome. Sean Marie, if I remember you. We talked quite a bit the last time. Good, good. All right. Well, cool. Well, a few of you had replied, so that gives us an idea. So um, with that, I will turn it over to you, my dear.
Hello, hello, everyone. I hope everyone's having a wonderful night. I'm getting used to where's the camera here. Um, so we just wanted to get on tonight and kind of address kind of the other side of things that sometimes that if you're in like a spiritual community or if you are in like the self-development, personal growth kind of communities, they sometimes, talk about all the healing that we have to do and all the things and the blocks and the limiting beliefs and all those things, right? And so that is absolutely 100% true. We do have those things. However, we also get to one of our mentors looks at the flip side of that. She calls it the front side of the model. And she talks about the fact that we are already whole. We already have all the answers that we need within ourselves. It's just a matter of remembering who we are and remembering our true authentic self. So we're going to talk about that a little bit tonight and address some of those differences as far as constantly looking at what's wrong, right? How many of you in here maybe feel like, oh, gosh, like there's so many things I have to fix. There's so many things I have to work on. There's so many things that I'm constantly struggling with, or, I'm up against, or I feel like I'm hitting a wall here, or is anyone here kind of feeling that? Okay. Right? And so that can be somewhat overwhelming just in itself, recognizing like, oh my gosh, like I'm going on live and I'm freaking out, or maybe I don't even go on live, right? And so that's kind of what we're going to talk about tonight. And before we get too far into that, I just want to kind of rein things back a little bit. I'm Elizabeth. I am a certified holistic practitioner. And so, what we do is we look at those limiting beliefs, but then, like I said, we also get to look at the other side of things and recognize we can embody the parts of us that are already within us. And so, when we forget about those parts of us, or maybe we don't even recognize that we have those parts of us, we get to introduce ourselves to those parts. And so that's what we're going to be doing tonight. And I'll let my husband introduce himself a little bit, just so you guys know kind of where we come from, a little bit about my background. I mean, obviously, our whole life is kind of our learning, right? And so from very small up, I had several things that happened in my childhood that could have really defined who I would be or not, and could have broken me. It could have made me a cynical person. It could have made me really not nice. It could have made me resent the world. Or in my case, I actually did feel like the world was an unsafe place. Does anyone else have those feelings of like, this world is unsafe? So we have those things because our mind is meant to keep us safe, right? That is its job, but it can also get in our way when we're trying to move forward on things. And so that's the work that we get to do, is really look at who are we truly? How did our childhood maybe mold us and make us? And it's a very positive thing. It's coming to love ourselves, love our experiences, and love and accept everything that we are, while also recognizing that there are parts of us now that we had to establish when we were younger that are not serving us anymore. They served their part, and now we get to lovingly say, thank you, I see you, I accept you, and then move forward into that higher version of ourselves that God is calling us to be, right? So I'll let my husband Jeff explain a little bit about himself and introduce himself, and then we'll kind of jump back in.
Yep, perfect. So, you know, what we're wanting to accomplish on these wealth energetics calls, which will be the second Wednesday of every month, is more of where you guys are at in the community, in learning all that you're learning within, whether it's the beginners program or money moves. Either way, is you're developing yourself, developing your skills with any profession. You have this idea of what you want to accomplish, and sometimes it doesn't go to a plan, right? And it doesn't go as fast as we want. And we realize, man, there's some areas of myself that I've got to fix and heal, and I got to figure out, and I need some help, and I need some mentoring. And that's really the design of why Joy wanted us to do this call at least once a month, was to help you guys and support you guys in that way, knowing that this can be a struggle sometimes. We have this big vision in the beginning, we're excited, we're all in, and then we get going with it and realize, oh man, I'm having a little trouble going live, or I'm having a little trouble connecting with people, or whatever your individual thing is. Then how do we move past that? Because we don't want that to be your story and it ends there and say, well, I tried this thing and it didn't work out, it wasn't for me. No, if you feel like you're here for a reason, and you feel like what you're doing is on your heart to do this and learn these skill sets and develop another stream of income, or just, whatever your goal is financially around learning digital marketing, know that that's there for a reason. Trust that. And what we're going to talk about in more detail tonight is the process that you're needing to go through and refine is part of the journey. It's not the reason you can't do the journey. It's not the reason why, well, this must not be for me because I'm feeling resistance, or I'm feeling a struggle, or I'm having emotions come up. No, those are part of the refinement that we need to go through, and it's actually a good thing. So we're going to talk a little bit more about that as we move through. But if any of you are on, I think most of you had said in the chat that you were on last month. But I'll just give a brief rundown if there's anybody on here that wasn't on last month, that has no idea who we are and what we're all about. So I'll give a brief rundown. So when I was 13, I started a lawn and landscaping business. And so I've been an entrepreneur literally like 99% of my entire life and have done a variety of things over those years. Some of the things that you could look at and say, oh, these were the bad things that happened to me. So I had acne in middle school and high school that like killed my confidence. And, I didn't talk to girls. Ask my wife because we knew each other from youth group at church. Like I didn't talk to girls. I rarely talked to boys, let alone the girls. So those were very imprinting times in my life. But that problem led me to finding about natural healing and the power of cleanses and how my body functioned. So if it weren't for the bad thing that happened with acne, I wouldn't have discovered the good things that I now share with tons of people and that we live in our day-to-day life and that we help our children with and those things. So there's a lot of times problems in our lives that are actually the seeds of greatness that if we look at them from the perspective of, man, I'm going through this really challenging time. What is in it for me? What is the lesson with this? That can be a big perspective shift. And again, we're going to dial into more of that as we move along tonight. But that was my first big thing in my journey is realizing the power of the body. And if we give it what it needs, it can heal. From there, it led me into personal development and learning about how our mind works and law of attraction, a lot of these buzzwords that we hear out there. But it's really about our power that we sometimes forget we have to create what we want in our life and how the power of our mind is so strong. Have you ever heard the phrase, if it is to be, it's up to me? Or if you, what's the one about belief? I'm blanking on it. That whether you believe you can or you believe you can't, either way you're right. It's the thinking that makes it so, right? These are concepts, principles of the power of our mind that a lot of times we use it just by default and more in a negative way. Like we're really good at imagining what we don't want. And we're really good at worrying, which is just a form of negative goal setting. And so how do we make that flip, right? How do we go from that if we feel like, man, I'm really stuck in these ruts of thinking? How do we switch that over to something that's going to be in creation power? So those are things that I began learning. Then my wife and I, we met in end of 2012, got married in 2013. 6 months after we were married, we were hit on foot down in Florida by a car at a bioenergetic conference the night before. And that introduced us into the wonderful world of finance because we were having struggles financially. So you can see this theme right in our life, and you guys can probably resonate with this of like, I had this terrible thing happen to me. I had this bad event. I had this circumstance that really sucked. And we can let those things derail us. And believe me, we're not perfect with all this. Like we've had our moments and it's really crushed us at times, but we've kept these perspectives somewhere, at least in the back of our mind, sometimes not always the front of our mind, that they can propel us forward and we can look for the gold in these things. So that's part of our journey. So we combine a lot of our knowledge and experience from that because we've been certified in different modalities and techniques that help with the mind and healing the body and how that links in with what we're doing in our life and our growth and our personal development, what we do in our business and how we show up in helping to fix the thinking process so that we're doing what we want to do and we're acting in accordance with our goals and dreams, right? So we've not only done that, but we've myself more than my wife, but we've both done a lot with personal finance and in business, and that's part of our fourth Wednesday call, which is more about aligned financial strategies and looking at the finances, but making sure they're aligned with who we are and where we want to go, right? So those are kind of what we do, a little bit about us, and with that, I'll turn it back over to you because I know we're going to kind of set the tone for the rest of the call before we jump into some more info. So take it away, babe.
So I want to do a grounding with you guys just so that we can kind of pull everything off of us from the day. All the worries, all the thoughts, all the things we have to do. We get really up in our heads during the day. So to bring us back into our bodies, that's where the magic happens, is within our bodies. And so if you guys want to close your eyes and just take a few deep breaths. Just kind of settle in. If you can put your feet on the ground so that you're actually setting the intention of grounding yourself, feeling that grounding, just letting all the tension out of the jaw, out of the shoulders, out of the stomach, and just kind of letting it sink into the ground. Just bringing ourselves back into presence, because presence is where we can embody our truest self. It is really the only moment that is true. Both the past and the future really don't exist if we think about it. All that we have is this moment right here, right now. So just breathing in and out, letting all that tension from the day wear down into the ground. Just letting our body relax, letting our breath center back into our hearts. And notice where you are breathing. Are you breathing and your shoulders are lifting, or are you breathing from your diaphragm, expanding the belly in and out? That will give you a good indication of where your body is at in this moment. If you are breathing with your shoulders raising, you are in fight or flight. If you are breathing from the diaphragm, you are in parasympathetic, the rest and digest and learn stage. And I just want you to focus on your hearts right now. And imagine the loving glow and warmth of God up above, bringing that love into your heart, bringing it down through the top of your head and letting it kind of trickle throughout your entire body, resting in the heart. And allow that to just expand and glow. And then grounding that, letting it go through the rest of your body, down through your stomach, down through your hips, through your legs, through your feet, down into the ground. Grounding that presence, grounding that love. And then bringing that love back from the earth, back up into our hearts. And out through the top of your head and bringing it back up to God. Just a quick connection back to our source, back to God, back to the earth, and back to ourselves. And when you're ready, go ahead and open your eyes and come back. Okay, so that just allows us to really bring ourselves back into presence, bring ourselves back into peace, and allow our nervous system to calm. When we have a calm nervous system, it allows things to click, it allows things to come in and to be received and also felt in the body. So I just wanted to bring you into your body for the moment. So as we were talking about, actually, before we do that, I just want to see where you guys, just check in and see where you guys are at, where you feel there's, if you guys are just starting out, if you are here new or you're fairly new to this industry, go ahead and put a 1 in the chat. If you have started, you've been here for maybe a little bit and you feel like maybe you're starting to get a little bit momentum, like maybe you're posting on a consistent basis, maybe you are going live every so often, but you're starting to build that momentum, put a 2 in the chat. And then if you feel like you've really gotten going, you've gotten into your groove, maybe you're starting to get some sales, maybe you're starting to really see movement happening in your business, then put a 3 in the chat. Wait, 2. 2, 3, that works. Yep.
Good, good. All right.
Okay, perfect. So we have a
Cool.
well-rounded group. That's good. Okay. So as we were talking about, we have the parts of us that, yes, maybe we need to heal. And we also have that version of us if you saw in the notes, I asked you to put, what would you like to create, or who would you like to be in the next 3 months? Where would you like to be in the next 3 months? Did everyone have a chance to kind of do that? If not, it's not a big deal. Don't worry about it. We'll kind of lead you through it. So that's where we want to get to, is just really being able to see where we want to be, because that's when we can really lock into that version of us. And there's techniques that we will teach you on this call that allow you to really like embody that and start to recognize, oh, if I want to be this version, then I need to show up in this way. I need to be, making this many action steps in a day or, taking this many action steps. So that's really what we want to talk about tonight is just how do we embody that higher version of ourselves? That next version, maybe you feel like a pull or a nudge from God that you're kind of like, oh, I really kind of need to step into this, but you feel like, gosh, I don't know if I'm ready for that. Has anyone felt that way? Like you feel a pull, but maybe you just feel like you're not quite equipped to do that yet. Yeah. Okay. And that's totally okay. That's where we start, right? But it's starting scared sometimes is what it is what it is. It's really recognizing that fear is false evidence appearing real. So it's our mind telling us, "Oh, I can't do this," or "Nope, don't do that. That's not safe," or "Oh, nope, do that. That's going to cause you problems." So it's that false evidence that appears really real. And that's usually an indication of like you're on the right track because growth is what? Just on the other side of our comfort zone, right? We have to step outside that comfort zone for that growth to really take place. And so I'm going to turn it back over to Jeff, and he's going to dive in a little bit more into this topic and just really give you guys some good nitty gritties. And then we're going to do a clearing and an embodiment at the end.
Cool. So how many of you guys and gals, most of you are gals, I guess I should say, um, feel like you're here for a reason? Like, whether you say God's got a purpose for my life or it's God's will, or if you're not God, but it just you feel like, there's a reason for you being here. Great. I think I saw most of the hands go up. Awesome, awesome. I think most of us do, right? Yep. A couple of you in the chat. Awesome. So I believe that too. I believe we're here for a reason. And Dr. Mortar, one of our primary mentors, she talks about that she feels the same way, right? We're here for a reason, and that wherever we are at, if we're in heaven before we come here, whatever that looks like, I don't really know. I'm not sure anybody truly knows, right? But that we have some sort of an idea of why we're coming to Earth, and we have a mission to further, and maybe it's to complete, or maybe it's just the next step in the journey. Obviously, lots of different thought processes on that, depending on how you're brought up and all that. Don't want to get into that, but just the concept of like we came here for a reason, right? And the reason that we feel things in our heart and in our gut to do certain things or to accomplish certain things or to serve certain people, those are the call of God, I believe, right? And so when we come here to earth, we're a baby, we come into the earth, we're developing our mind, and we start living life, and we get older, and we get to the stage where we're an adult and we have this call on our life, but then there's sometimes things that hold us back. And Dr. Sue talks about this idea that when we come here, we generally know what we're here to accomplish, but then once we get here, we kind of forget why we're here. And then we spend time figuring it out. And as we go through life, of course, we have different life experiences, or we observe things from our parents and the world around us. We come to our own conclusions. We have our own experiences that, shape us and mold us through school and the friends that we have and the experiences we have. And we start dating and we get married or have kids or get into the business world or go to college. And, whatever your track looks like, we have things that go well. And then we probably have things that are failures, right? And things that blew up in our face and we didn't see that coming. We didn't see the bad business decision, or we didn't see the bad marriage, or we didn't see, the health issues coming. Some of these things throw us off. And I think the general normal reaction is to see those things as bad. These are the bad things that happen in our life, right? And Dr. Sue has shared with us so much of shifting that perspective and going, we came here for a reason and we have a calling on our heart. We have a purpose to fulfill here. Maybe, just maybe, those things that we see are bad are actually what we signed up for. Maybe they're actually on our path. Maybe they're actually the perfect thing at the perfect time to teach us the right things so that we can grow in the way that we need to grow so we can fulfill our purpose. Like, what a powerful shift from seeing these things as like, oh, God hates me, or it's bad luck, or I have bad genetics, to no, this health condition, this financial stress, this relationship problem, that is actually designed specifically for you to go through it, to learn what you need to learn to rise above that, to grow, to sharpen your sword, to gain knowledge, to gain discernment, understanding, wisdom, whatever it is, so that you can then be better equipped to carry out your purpose. So I challenge you to look at the things that you've had in your life, the things that maybe you're struggling with right now that's maybe motivated you to get into money moves or the basic course with joy. Whether it's more freedom, maybe it's more financial, less stress financially, right? More income. I've heard from a few that, you're wanting to hit certain income numbers or retire a spouse or different things like that. Those are phenomenal goals. So the things that maybe were their stressors that motivated you to get to this place, see them not as these are things that are keeping me from getting there, but shifting that to these are the reasons why I can succeed with this, because these are the things that I need to learn. I need to grow through them. I know most of you are females. I'm going to give a football analogy. I'm a big Tom Brady fan. One of the quotes that Tom Brady always talked about was he either won, he won whether it's a game or won, the Super Bowl. He was either winning or he was learning. There was never a win or a lose. So even in our losing, we can be winning because we're finding the lessons and we're able to grow and we're able to look at it and say, what in this do I need to develop? And it may suck. It may take all of your willpower. It may take all of your life force to get through it, but that's for your betterment. It's for your design. So I say this as an encouragement because we go through this too, right? Just because we say this doesn't mean our life is perfect and flowing. And like we have these refining times too, these seasons of our life where it sucks and it takes the life out of you and you wish it would end. But there's always something deep inside that's like, you can't quit. You have to keep going. It's okay to have the down day, but get back on track. And that's because we have this calling placed on our life to work through these things. So as Elizabeth mentioned, we have areas of our life that we need to look at, right? As you maybe are starting to do digital marketing and you're starting to take these action steps on what you're learning within the course, and you're like, ooh, I'm maybe not as comfortable on camera as I thought I would be. I'm maybe a little more afraid. Perfect. Let's pop the champagne. One of our mentors says, when we come into a bad situation, the sooner you can pop the champagne and celebrate and go, boy, this sucks. I have no idea what good thing's going to come out of this, but I know something good is going to happen in the end. If you can have that spirit about it, which honestly isn't always easy to do, right? But if we can at least start cultivating that a little bit and go, man, this fear of being on camera really sucks. I was expecting to sail through this a little quicker. I thought my struggles were going to be a little further down the track. Well, get excited, right? Because there's something within that fear of getting on camera and getting more comfortable and boosting your confidence and knowing what to say and know how to connect with people through a camera. There's something in that. There's powerful lessons within that that are for you to be able to grow. So take that and embrace it and know that, yeah, there's going to be those things that we need to heal. Like, where did the fear come from? And we can get into all that stuff. But there's an element of seeing what you're going through, not as I have to work through all these blocks and all these challenges. And there is an element that you can, but if you can see it from a perspective of these things are here to serve me for my growth, then we can come from a place of not being broken and like I'm never going to get there, but seeing the whole process, the lessons as part of the full package that I already have everything I need. These lessons are part of what I need, and they're happening right now at the perfect time. So I'm a whole complete being. I'm not these broken pieces that I can't succeed, seeing it as these things are showing up in my life because I am whole. And this is just part of the journey, and I will get through this too, right? This too shall pass is one of those old time sayings, right? So having this mindset can help us come from a place of more of our power instead of coming from this broken place, right? A lot of people see their fears and their worries and the parts of them that they see as a lack as like a detriment, right? And it's there's this negative association to it. But if you can see it as like, yes, those things are there and I can work through them, but they're also there to serve me. That is just such a powerful flip that can really start to help us with our power to be able to come from a place of I can work through these things. I can find the place within myself that is the strong person. Because how many of you have had times in your life where things have been flowing well and clicking well? Maybe it hasn't stayed, but you've had seasons where it's like, man, things are really going well, right? And you're like, I'm disconnected from that now, but I'm wanting to return to that level. So you know you've done it before, so we can do it again. And it's just that finding it in this new unit of time with something new. And it can come. It can come. So the big message tonight with what we wanted to share was, yes, there's always things to work on. There's aspects of us that we need to heal, and we can dig into that and figure out why am I afraid? Where's this coming from? Where's this block? Why am I procrastinating? There's merit in doing all of that stuff. What we see in the personal development community can be a focus on that for too long, and that becomes the obsession where people can spend years trying to fix all the parts of themselves that they feel like needs fixing, and they forget to live and they forget to embody who they are right now and realize I don't need to fix me. I'm already whole. Sure, I can fix elements of myself, but it's more efficient and just a better use of our time to come from a place of I'm whole right now. I can do whatever I put my mind to, right? We have the power at any moment to choose the positive thought or the negative thought. We can repeat the past or we can create a new future. We have that power with our thoughts every moment. Now, is it easy to do that? Sometimes, sometimes not, right? So the times where we can't find the positive and we can't go there mentally, those would probably be some times to heal some of that, right? And do some of that mindset work and release some of the emotions that get trapped in our nervous system. Absolutely. However, if we can come from a place of of fullness and our completeness and see ourselves not as broken, but as the full version of ourselves, then we can come from a different place and go, I can learn all that there is to learn about digital marketing. I can take the action steps that I'm learning. I can get the outcome that I'm after. I can impact other people with what I'm doing with digital marketing. I can change my financial state with what I'm doing with digital marketing. When we can make that shift and just where our intention is coming from, where our presence is coming from, instead of from I'm broken, I need to heal all this, and it's going to take forever to get there, I may never get there, versus the parts of me that need to be fixed are the perfect thing at the right time as part of me that is whole. I now can move forward in a totally different way with much different power and take different action steps. So one of the things that we'll do here to finish up in a little bit will be an exercise to help regulate our nervous system around whether you feel like I have a lot of things I need to heal and release, different emotions, or you feel like I hear what you're saying, Jeff and Elizabeth. I do sense that part of myself that is tapped into the power, and I'm maybe not there as much as I would like, but I know what you're talking about. I can feel it. I can sense it. It's there. And I just need to be able to be there more often and come from that place more often. This exercise we'll do at the end will help anchor that in and what we say embody that, which just means the nervous system will accept it instead of a lot of times we reject those things because our nervous system has been trained to reject the things that we ultimately want because there's a negative experience from our past tied to it that our nervous system says, yeah, but the last time I was creative or the last time I was prosperous, something negative happened. So I don't want that negative feeling. So let's stop the abundance from flowing in to protect ourselves, right? So we can release that from the nervous system so that our nervous system is accepting of the type of life we're wanting to create through what we're doing here with money moves and the beginner's course. So I'm seeing a couple things coming here. So what about disappointment? Okay. Elaborate on that. What do you mean by disappointment? If you want to put that in the chat, or if you want to come on, I'd be happy to entertain that. But those are my general thoughts. Anything to add to what I was sharing, honey?
Yeah, and I was just going to say, it's kind of the refining. It's refining ourselves and, going through the fire, so to speak. It's the diamond, it's the pressure that creates the diamond. And I don't know if anyone has heard of the book, The Obstacle is the Way. Has anyone heard of that? So it's all about our obstacles are our way. right? Because think about it. If you have specific things that come up that you have to learn through and you have to solve for yourself, then how is that going to help you in the future? You're going to know what it's like to go through those things. So you're going to have people that you can shortcut their experience because of your experience and because of your journey, right? So the obstacles that we come up against, or as our mentor likes to call it, the opportunities, right? If we look at them as opportunities, then they are opportunities for us to grow into our fullest version. And that was what he was talking about, is the opportunities that we have. Maybe it's you being scared out of your living daylights to get on and go live, right? But once you face that, once you move through that, then you'll be able to help the people on your team, right? The people that maybe you bring onto your team or the people that you bring into the group, and you have personal experience at that point. And then you can say, okay, I've been there, done that. I can understand. I know exactly how you're feeling. You can connect to that person. You can relate to that person because you can say, I've been there. Like, I completely understand where you're coming from. And this is what I was able to do. This is how I moved through that obstacle, this or opportunity, right? How I grew from that opportunity. So that's kind of the refinement that we get to go through. And if we can look at those obstacles or those opportunities as such as that, you know what I mean? Then that allows us to come from a creator mentality instead of a victim mentality. Does that make sense? Because sometimes we want to go into our victimhood of like, woe is me. Why is this happening to me? Why isn't this happening to me? Maybe we're looking at somebody else in the group and they just took right off, it looks like, right? And we compare, and comparison will kill your dreams so fast. So if you can keep your eyes on your prize, right? Keep your eyes on the prize, what you want to create. Your journey is different from somebody else's, and you have no idea what their backstory is. It could look like, how many of you have ever had a situation where you see someone and it's like they take off, they have this amazing thing happen, and it's like it seems like it just happened overnight. Has anyone seen that? Anyone experienced that? And you're like, whoa, what did those people do? But then if you actually hear the backstory of it, it's like, oh, they were a realtor for 30 years and they had this whole network of people that they could access. And so when they jumped over to this thing, then they had, 50 people that instantly like jumped on board because they knew them, they built a relationship with them, and they already had that like rapport, right? So they said, oh, they're recommending this. This is a cool, okay, I'm on board. Cool. I'm following. So you have no idea what the backstory is of those people. And so if you can keep yourself kind of in your lane, I don't know if you've ever heard that, stay in your lane, focus on your lane, because your story is your story, and that's where your power is. Your why is going to push you forward in those moments and really allow you to connect to that fullest, authentic version of yourself. So I don't know, did he get back on?
He said a little bit about doing something and someone else gets the credit for it. So I was asking for a little more clarity on what he's wanting exactly to know about that, because I could take that in a few different directions, but I
Yeah.
wanted to try to answer his question. So I guess in the few minutes we've got left, I think one thing that we want to do is just like we did on the last couple of calls, just open it up. If any of you guys that are on camera or even off camera, have anything specific that you would like help with just in the business. And this isn't about like implementing digital marketing. Like we're not digital marketer experts, right? It's where are you maybe finding a stumbling block along the way, either in implementation or learning or being consistent, or you're sabotaging yourself, or as you learn and implement what you're learning in this course, where are you having some challenges? That's really what we want to support you guys with for a little bit. So if anybody has anything, feel free to put it in the chat, come off mute. If you're on camera, off camera, we'd love to hear how we can support you guys and do a little bit of some live coaching and help wherever you guys are at in the process. So if anybody has anything, we would love to share it.
I have a question. I'm being
Yeah.
kind of quiet because I'm in the business center at Lifetime. So I guess my question is like I've been doing really good. I'm really, really successful with like networking, with relationships. I've always been in sales. But I think the challenge that I'm having is like when I'm developing new relationships with people, because I really believe sales is like relationships with people, but I've never done something where I am like not working somewhere. You know what I mean? Like it's like if someone comes into like the salon I worked at, I was like, I could close anybody. If someone comes into the dealership, I'll close you because you're coming there for that. You know what I mean? So I think my thing is like I've been really putting myself out there, like here at Lifetime, like I'm like adding people like no other. I'm like, you are gonna be my friend on Instagram. See what I'm doing? And it's like I'm not trying to hurry anything, but I think the stumbling block for me is like even yesterday there was a girl and she messaged me who I didn't know and she was like, how do you afford Lifetime Fitness? I was like, well, I make money online. And she was like, oh, I'd love to do something like that. I've been seeing the posts, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, well, why don't you come with me to Lifetime? We'll work out and then we can go to the business center after. And I think she's just busy. She has 4 kids, but then it was just like dead. I was like, oh. But I think my challenge is like implementing this. I kind of feel like, have you guys seen The Pursuit of Happiness? Have you guys seen that movie?
No,
The what?
Wait, you've never seen that movie?
I don't think
Oh
so.
man, that was going to be my. How have you not seen The Pursuit of Happiness? Really? Will
Oh,
Smith?
I
Okay.
have. Yes, I have.
Okay, yeah. Do you remember
Yeah.
the part where he's like meeting all these like really high end stock
Yeah.
people and they're at the game and then he says and you should do this and they're like, dude, no. No, that's how I feel with like all these
Okay.
people. Like I'm like, hey, like we're vibing. Like, hey, have you ever thought about it? And they're like, live, no, no. I'm just like, ew, I feel gross. I don't like this. So like, what am I missing?
So can I ask a question?
Well, you just did.
Do you feel like it has to be hard?
I feel like what?
Do you feel like it has to be hard? Like you have to work for it? Does that make sense? Like you were
No,
saying,
like it feels very easy. I just feel I'm very like I was talking to my therapist. He's like, you're an empath. Like I feel things.
yeah.
And I'm like, I'm very aware of my own surroundings. So like when I feel ick, I'm like, ew, like I feel what you're feeling right now. And I'm just like, I'm uncomfortable for you being uncomfortable.
Okay.
But it's not hard. Like it's very flow. It's very conversational. It's not hard. I'm just like, did I do something wrong when I said that? Because it's like not something. I'm like, why are there crickets now? Why, And it's like even like with other people, it's like when it's like even when it's slow, it's just like dead after that. And I'm like, okay, it's just weird. I don't know. I don't know if like there's like because I'm confident in this, but I think really the missing piece for me is like understanding who really wants this, like who, you know what I mean? Like who is this for? Who is this specifically for? Because I just started this because I was like, I just want to make an extra like $500 a month. That'd be awesome. But it's like also kind of difficult because it's like not really like I don't like need necessarily, you know what I'm saying? But it's fun for me. I don't know how well you guys can hear me. I don't know if it's on my headphones or if it's on my phone, so my
Yep,
bad
we
if
can
it's
hear you
like
good.
really bad to hear. Oh, you
Yep.
can? Okay. You're
Yep.
doing the thing
So,
that other people do. They're not saying anything.
right.
I'm filling the
Okay.
air.
So walk me through a little, give me an
Interesting.
example of like a scenario like you're describing. Like, what do you say?
Okay.
What does the other person say back? Like, kind of go through that
I'll
a
just
little bit.
Yeah, so like yesterday I had a girl reach out to me because I post every single day, like not like I do stuff like in the gyms with the trainers and I'll post that. And then I'm like just kind of like a hooks essentially for people, like, oh, I want what she has. And so then I'll get people reaching out to me like, I would love to go to Lifetime because this is like the new gym that just opened a week ago. It's like the bougiest gym like in the valley, right? And I had a girl, I was like, well, come with me. Like, well, I can't afford that. And I was like, just make, yeah, I was like, make money online. Like, I was like, I can teach you. And she's like, I've seen what you're doing. It's just, I don't really understand it. And I've been scammed so many times before. It scares me. So maybe you could walk me through it. And I was like, okay, tell you what, like, let's go to the gym together. We're going to get some good endorphins. We're going to work out. It's going to be totally awesome. And then afterwards, like, if you want to, we can go through and I can show you, like, no pressure. Like, I can show you some modules. We'll get a matcha, like, all the things. And she was like, okay, great. Does next, like, Monday work? And I was like, no, like next Monday doesn't work. I have family in town. It's graduation. My daughter's graduating preschool, but it's a big deal for me. uh, and I was like, how about next Monday? And didn't say anything. And then we had another text where I was like, here's like the guest pass for her to fill out. And I was on a Zoom call with a gal who was last night with Mary. And I was like, oh, she's just so good. And I took like a little video. I was like, I'm watching one of the Zoom calls right now. Just that's just how I do POVs of like wherever I am. I'm like, hey, I'm here. What's up? And then I was like, my brain was like, she didn't respond because you were pushing like the sales on her. But it's like, I don't think that's what I was doing. That wasn't my intention. I was just showing her like what I was doing. Like, hey, girl, like I'm on, like you'll love this. Like it's awesome. It's positive energy. Like it's good. And then it was just, but I saw she read it, which is like the worst. And I'm just like, oh, I'm being like, I don't know. Like, I know it's not me. She's probably just super busy, but I'm like, also like, I don't really know this girl at all, like at all. She just like reached out to me, you know?
Okay.
Oh,
So
I feel like I'm talking to my therapist. It's so freeing. Thank you. You guys are so calm. Thank you.
no worries. So I think a few things. So number one, I mean, what you said there, it's like, well, there's not anything necessarily inherently wrong with you or what you're doing. I think part of it, like with anything, and you
Hmm.
probably know this from sales, like you're gonna get no's, you're gonna talk to people that don't resonate with what you're doing. Like that's just part of the process, right? So
I just
one,
don't get no. I don't get told no. It doesn't happen to me. It just
right.
doesn't. It's like if okay, but keep going.
Yeah. So, but you may not be getting a no, but you're not getting a yes,
This is true. True.
right? So it
Yeah.
stalls out or they ghost you or it just feels awkward. Like there's an element there where you're not getting commitment, they're not buying in, they're not excited, they're not like, yes, let's do this, and they follow all the way through, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So number one, that's just part of the process. That's part of the game, right? Of sales,
Okay.
doing what we're doing, right? It's a numbers game, it's a
Okay.
contact sports. What one of my mentors shares with me. This is a contact sport. The more contacts you make, the better
Mm,
you're going to be, right? You're going to have to go through a certain number of quote unquote no's to get to a
okay.
yes, right? And you
Yeah.
have to remain confident in who you are and how you approach it to get through a certain number of no's or not yeses in your
So
case.
and no, so that's considered a no then. It's like if somebody doesn't reach back out, that's like my no,
Well, it's not that
kind
it's a
of.
no, it just may not be a yes today, right? That's part of follow up and follow through with sales
Yeah, but what do
is
I say when I follow up? Like, hey, like,
well,
you
so
follow
I
up on
think
my
part so
no.
another aspect of this is having more of a defined process that you take people through in
Mm,
how you reach out. So the way I've been taught with some of what I do is there's always a reason you're reaching out, and it's not necessarily directly in the first conversation to try to pitch them, sell them, convince them, anything. It's to plant seeds with them and understand who
yeah.
they are and where there could be alignment between what you do and what they need, right?
Okay.
So if you can do that, and that's something we'd have to probably do more of a one-on-one and, kind of get that more refined of like, what does that look like? What are you, I mean, part of it is what is your target market? What are their pain
Mm,
points? What do you have that
okay.
is going to solve for them? And coming from that place in your communication, but then having the right way to communicate with them and the right questions so that you can, in a natural
Yeah.
way, find out about them and
So I
find
just
out
feel
if
like
there's
people
alignment.
buy me, because I'm like my whole thing at first was like, this is like it's amazing. This is where the world is going. Like I truly believe in it, and people can feel that. People whoever's more convinced, I'm convinced. Um, and I'm gonna say, oh, just for making like from like a rant. I don't even have TikTok. I did a TikTok and I made a random sale. I was like, what? Like on my first day, I was like, what? How did that happen? And it's just like I think my target was like moms who just want to make a little extra money. But now I'm getting business executives who are coming to me asking, Liv, I don't have time to watch the module. How is this course going to help me sell my book? Like really
Hmm.
like high clientele, like I mean like celebrity people like reaching out who just, we know from friends to friends, but like they're like, I'll buy it. But how is this course gonna help me? And I'm like, I don't know. But I think it will. Not enough.
Okay. So we need to have an answer for that question. So if are you
Yeah.
do you want to work with that type of clientele? Like, do you want
That's
to?
the type of clientele I'm getting reached out to. So like I have my dad, Gus Fernandez, like he is a very like well known in his like era
Mhm.
professional speaker. So he has a lot of like high clientele friends, right?
Okay.
And he'll just be like, reach out to Libby, reach out to Libby. And you know, it's like they love me and they'll buy it, but they're not like they have the money, but they're like, I do not have time as a business owner to do this. So why how is this going to get people like for instance, Steve Hanks, he was on the call once, he was in that movie Jesus Revolution. Um, you know, he's like so funny, he's like famous now. But anyway, he's like, Libby, how is this course gonna help me sell my book? Um, why don't I just use AI? You know, and he wasn't saying it demeaning. He was sincerely asking, like, figure it out. Okay, all right. Pop in the champagne.
Yeah.
Right.
Pop
So,
in the
so,
champagne. I didn't
so
get
I think
champagne, but you know.
right. So, I mean, with that kind of thing, I mean, that specific thing, I think, lean on the other people in the group that could answer that question. Like, what would Joy say to that, or
Yeah.
anybody else? Like, help get,
That it's not going to help him sell his book, but he can make money from helping other people money.
Well,
You
and he
know, like
could, I don't know, because I know there's a lot of like marketing strategy in here. So it could help him
yeah, but
sell his
that's what
book.
yeah, but
But
I don't know. I haven't gone through enough
exactly.
and I don't own my own, I don't have a book. You know, he
right.
has got like millions of followers on Instagram. So it's like,
Yep.
why doesn't he just keep posting on it? You know, how is this going to help
Yep.
him? And so it's like, I don't know.
So this,
But
so
those
this
are the
is
kind of
where,
people I'm getting reached out to. Like, just, you know, like two a day probably. But I'm just like, I don't know. But it's like all people that are like, will come back to me. But I'm just kind of like, I don't really know. I'm trying to find an answer that I don't really know what answer I'm looking for, I guess. Like, what am I looking for?
yeah. So I think
Hmm.
with that, a couple thoughts. So a lot of salespeople, when they get into a scenario where like, how can this help me sell my book? And you're like, crap, I don't know what to say. You can always revert to asking questions, right? So say, well, how are you selling your book right now? And they tell you,
AI. He just says, I use AI.
okay. So then you can say, great, that's awesome. Is it working well for you? Are you reaching your sales goals?
No, not.
Okay. So what else, and this can go different ways, but what are your goals with the sales? Like, are you looking to get
But how
into
do I know
different
what questions to ask?
practice in
Well,
mentorship?
practice what? Like, yeah,
So
I need like,
practice this. So like using, other people within the group, right? Like using somebody that
yeah,
has
yeah,
experience, Naomi, Joy, they probably know how to ask those questions, right? Like in my
yeah,
profession, you have to go through the reps. You have to get into a scenario where I was presented an opportunity and I kind of blew it at least right off the gate because I didn't know what to say. We've probably all been there. I've been there numerous
mm-hmm.
times, and that's how you learn. You're like, crap. I mean,
Yeah, for sure.
some of the people in my industry, they're like, I've blown multi-million dollar deals because I didn't know a good follow-up question. I didn't know where to lead the conversation. I knew they needed what
Right.
I offered.
Yep.
I had no idea how to connect the dots. So that motivated them. This is what we're talking about tonight, right? It
Yeah,
motivated them to go, I need to have an answer for this. What can I do
yeah,
to make sure that I'm never in that situation again where I know how to navigate that? So that's where you work with somebody that is in sales that can help you figure that out, right? And you do some role
yeah,
playing and you practice and then you take it into the real live scenario and figure it out, right? You call that person up and say, "Hey, I didn't have a good answer for you. Let me ask you a few questions now. I want to know more about your situation to see if this product is even a good fit for you in your sales of your book, right? Just be open and
that's
honest, and then you
good.
can see where it
Yeah,
goes,
I don't
right?
have a problem. I
You
think
know?
the problem is I don't really get that upset. I'm just like, well, whatever, you know.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like, where it might be better if I was like, dang it,
Hmm.
darn
Well, and
it,
that's
you know.
that Scott had a good point in the comments, like this, just be honest. And that's what he said. Just be honest and say, like, hey, I will get back to you. Let me reach out to Joy. She's the creator of the
Yeah,
course. I'll get back to you,
Hmm.
or like you
yeah,
said, ask some questions. And I'm going to kind of flip it on its head here a little bit because we're in the energy side of things, like we're in kind of
yeah.
that wealth energetics. So you
Mhm.
do have the answers. And
Yes,
it might not
yes,
it might not be that like if you can learn how to tap into your own intuition, those answers can pop in. And the answer might be reach out to Joy and ask,
Oh,
right?
I like that.
So it's just learning to trust yourself and know that those answers are there. Now, whether that means you actually have a
Okay.
straightforward answer to answer the question, or you have the answer to reach out to this person who will know who has the answer to that question. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So,
Now,
so
do you guys think that there? Oh, go ahead.
So I was just going to say that might actually be, well, go ahead and ask your question and then we'll kind of transition because we're running out of time here. But
I know,
I
my
want
bad,
to
my
do
bad.
something. I want to do something to cue this in.
Okay. So I'm just asking, like, do you guys believe, like, with your friend who had, like, oh, I blew a multi-million-dollar deal? I know that you were saying, like, yes, those, like, the obstacle is the way, like, this is, like, when negative things happen, it's actually for a positive thing. But, like, do you think that that was, like, essentially, like, a loss? Or, because I don't think of things like that. I just am like, I can turn it around. It's going to turn around. I just always believe things are going to turn around. And that's
Mhm.
kind of how I see things. Like,
Yep.
is that like a negative way to look at things? Energetic thing?
No, no. I mean, it's kind of like that pop the champagne, right? Because is it going to
Okay.
be better for you to have a negative outlook, to be pessimistic, to
No.
think about the downsides, to not that you want to be like the positive, like everything's rosy and
Overly.
peachy and
Yeah,
overlook
yeah.
and kind of
Yeah, I
bypass.
don't.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You don't want to bypass, but for you to have the ability to flip that on its head and say,
Yeah.
okay, I learned something here, or what is the
Yeah.
goal here, or whatever the case might be, that's going to serve
Mm-hmm.
you more, especially
Mm-hmm.
energetically, than if you're
Mm-hmm.
just Debbie Downer. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Like if you're
Yeah,
just
not a Debbie
constantly
Downer,
like
that's for
downing
sure.
things. So what I was
Yeah.
going to say, I
Okay.
know there's some people in here that are saying like being consistent, knowing like where to start. These are a lot of kind of, I mean, the being consistent, that is literally taking the actions. It's being able to, even on the days we maybe don't want to, and you might run into, I don't do those things, right? So I'm going to kind of shift here just a little bit, and I want it to kind of answer you, Livy, in a different way, because I feel like
Okay.
this is a perfect segue into wanting to do kind of the clearing and embodiment side of things. So
Yeah.
I want everyone to think about whatever it is that they're struggling with right now. So for you, it might be, oh, I don't have the answers to that, or I have all these people coming, or, whatever that is. This person is saying being consistent. The other person is saying, not knowing where to start. First of all, you have a huge team here and you've got a lot of modules in here. That is where you start. Like if you need help, there's a lot of people you guys can tap into here in this group. And there's a lot of modules you can go through. And there's even modules that say, here's where you start, I think. And so you can just start going through the modules because here's the thing. People buy you. They don't buy a product, they buy you. So Naomi, who is in this course, she could literally sell them anything she wanted to. It's because they believe in her. It's because they feel that she is honest. It's because they know that she believes in this 100%. Does that make sense? So they will buy from her because she has embodied that. She knows 100% she believes in this. And so they will come in and they will say, "Oh my gosh, like you have this glow about you. You have this like energy about you, right? And I want that." Right? So they want what you have. So one of the things you were asking about is like, how do I think someone said like, where do I start? Like, what do I say? Like, what if my life is boring? Well, why did you start? Why did you start in this course to begin with? Because your why is going to probably be your people. If you wanted to make an extra $500 and you might, and you've got people who are coming to you that are on a whole different level, and that's awesome because you're bringing those people in energetically. So you just get to tap into the further version of you that believes that you have the answers. And like I said, whether that is oh, I need to reach out to Joy, or oh, this person I know knows the answer to this question, or whatever it is, right? We know the answers, and they might not be like what we think it should be or what it might be, but if we can start to listen to that still small voice, right? Then that's where we get to tap in to who we truly are, our fullest self, and really be able to show up and serve. And so I want you guys to just tune in for a moment. Is there anyone else? I get so bored. Okay. So I want you guys just to tune in for a moment of like, what is the thing that I'm struggling with most right now? And go ahead and just close your eyes and really tune into your body and find out where in your body do you feel it. And then you're just going to acknowledge that area in your body. It could be your throat. It could be your heart. It could be your head. It could be your stomach. It could be your solar plexus. It could be the root. It could be your feet. Whatever, wherever it is in your body, feel into that place and just bring awareness to it. And say, like, I see you. I accept you. I understand that you're there and you're trying to get my attention. And so breathing into that area, like envision like wrapping it in this little bubble of love. And then breathing through, like we did at the beginning, just breathing through that area until that area kind of like dissipates, until that feeling kind of relaxes and releases. And then once you have gone ahead and like released that, and it feels less, it feels lighter, it feels calmer, maybe it's disappeared completely. Then what you can do is ask, where in my body do I need to bring awareness and neural circuitry, it's called, into our system, into our body, to allow me to actually embody that version of me, the version that is consistent, the version that knows they have the answers, the version that knows that every answer will come to them because it will either be from themselves or it will be from somebody else, right? So we will always have the answers. Whatever it is that you're focusing on, ask, where in my body do I need to bring awareness so that I can build the circuitry in that part of my body to embody that fullest version of myself? The the part of me that already is that. And then do the same exact thing. Just bring awareness to it. Bring that loving presence, as we call it. And then breathe up and down that central channel, just lighting that center up. Maybe it's the forehead, and you just need to create some neural circuitry in there. Maybe it's really speaking your truth. So you need to create some circuitry in here. Maybe it's your heart. Maybe you don't trust and you've been hurt before. Or maybe there are people who have been hurt before, right? And they don't trust. So you can be that presence that says, this is okay. You are safe. I have you. Whatever that is, just bring that awareness to it, breathing through that and just allowing that circuitry to come online. And then let me know how that feels in the chat afterwards. Do you feel like, oh, okay, now I feel like I can step into this a little bit more? Do you feel like, ah, that maybe has settled a little bit for me? It's kind of grounded in a little bit, or it's dissolved. And if anyone wants to share, go ahead. You have anything else?
There we go. Love it. Yeah, so I think to wrap up for you, Livy, one of the things that's been really helpful for me, and I'd be happy to do this with you, is like practice a little bit of like questioning on like how to navigate those conversations. It does take practice. I mean, I've worked a lot with my mentors, and now I coach agents on that stuff, and it once you can like get a few ideas of like where you can take it, then you can like, oh, I kind of know how to do this. So
Yeah, when you
just
said that one thing about like how, like, well, can you see yourself doing this? Like, I've asked that so many times, and then it's gotten other people thinking. But it's been such a good. I was like, that was such a. You should make a list question. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, it's hard. I mean, 'cause there's so
Yeah.
many different scenarios, right? I mean, it could be such a long list, but I think here's a good principle that will help you, I think. It's not about specifically what question. It's about more of
Mhm.
like your presence and how you come into the conversation. If you can have a genuine curiosity
Yep.
and a
Yep.
caring heart, right? Oh,
I
that
have those.
you do. So you're already
Yes.
you're already most of the way there. So then it's just a matter of whatever they say.
Hmm.
What's easy to have happen in sales is if we don't know what to say, we go to our heads, we panic, adrenaline kicks in, and our mind shuts off.
Yep.
Hmm.
We all do it. If we can stay more grounded and calm, and then
Yeah.
they say, "How can this help me sell my book?" You're like, "Oh
Hmm.
man, that's a great question. I don't know, tell me a little bit more about what you're doing right now to sell your book." And
Well, they
just
asked me like, why don't I just use AI?
perfect. So you can say, if they're already using AI, you can ask them that. If they are, say, great, is it doing everything you're wanting it to? Like, is it increasing your sales? Your conversion's good? Like, just find out. Again, it's that genuine curiosity, like find out about it. Because AI is AI. It doesn't mean it's like
Yeah.
perfect for everything, right? There's still no replacement for face to face. It's old school, but there are already people. We talked about this when I was at the event that I was at a week and a half ago. There are already people that are already so fed up with seeing the AI stuff online. They don't want it
Mhm.
anymore. They want face to face. They want human connection. They want emotion. They want a conversation, right? AI can
Mhm.
only do so many things. There's no replication for human interaction, heart to heart, face to face, building a connection with someone. So yes, AI can technically do a lot of things, but there's still a limitation to what it's ultimately going to be able to do. And for somebody wanting to sell a book,
Right.
I would want to know more. What's the book? Who are you selling it to? What's the best way to reach them? Like, can you use AI within all that? Absolutely. But maybe whatever they're selling, doing it face to face is going to be a better way. Maybe getting on TikTok Live and promoting the book and talking about the book and all that could be a better way. But if you don't ask questions about like what they're trying to do and how they're trying to go about it and who they're reaching and what struggles they're having, and it's going to be hard for you to link that up. That's with sales in general. A lot of people in sales say, I have this thing and I'm going to convince you need it without knowing why or how you need it. Right. And then
I
that's where
think my
people
thing
get
is
in.
like,
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I apologize. Just understanding who it's really for the business side. Because I don't, but I can ask that of Joy too, because I have a meeting with her tomorrow. So like, who is this really for? Like, how is this going to scale a business? Because I'm like, any mom that's like, I need to make some money. I'm like, girl, take a seat next to me. We're gonna do this meeting together. Like, no problem. But as far as the scaling side goes, I'm like, ooh, champagne.
Right.
I don't know the answer
Yeah.
Yeah.
yet. I don't know it yet, but I
You
Exactly.
will
don't
because
know
I'm
yet. You
curious
got
and
it.
I have a genuine heart.
Yep. So, I mean, I think there's a lot of ways that you can help, but I really think just some of the basics, just questioning, like just wanting to understand the situation, and you'll get better with it. You'll fumble with it in the beginning. We all do. But the better you can get at understanding them and just being genuinely interested and caring about them and helping them. Because here's the thing, it may be like once you understand it, the course isn't the right fit for them, and that's okay,
Yeah.
right? It's
Yes.
okay,
Okay. So my goal
right?
isn't to be like you need to find this. My goal is to be genuinely
Mhm.
curious. I'm obviously hungry, curry. Sounds really good. Curious, and that's my goal because it's like okay, maybe it's not the right fit. But I'm just in my head. I'm like, no, no, no,
Mhm.
impossible.
Right. Yep. So that's part of, disconnecting a little bit from the outcome and just staying in the place of genuine curiosity, finding out about
Yeah.
them, and is there alignment between what I offer and the problems it
Really,
solves and what they need?
really
Keeping
think
it
this might
simple.
not be for some people.
Say that again.
You really think it might not be for some people? Because I just feel like everyone can benefit from this. Like, how can you not?
Yeah. I mean,
That's
I
how I
think
feel.
every salesperson that has a product or service they're selling says this works for everybody. This could benefit everybody. But you know that not everybody's going to be interested. Not everybody's going to resonate with it. And it may not be that it's a no forever. It just may be a no right now. It might be a year from now, and that same person that wasn't interested comes back around and is like, man, I saw this thing from somebody else, and you talked to me about this, Livy. I'm interested now. It clicks, right?
Mhm.
What you described didn't fit today. So it's having that longer term view. And in sales, we want it to happen right now on the first conversation, and they're going to get it, and they're going to move forward, and we're going to make the sale. And that's a lot of times not how sales works, right? There's a lot of data out there in sales that says it takes between 7 and 12 repetitions, and that could be considered a no, but repetitions of putting the thing in front of the person before they're saying, yes, I'm committed to buy, right? So it's easy after one interaction to go, they didn't buy, they weren't interested. Like, I must suck as a salesperson, or I don't know what I'm doing, or maybe this isn't the right business for me. When just having a longer term view and go, like, maybe in a year from now, they will be interested. How can I just sprinkle in a follow up with them? Share a little bit of what I'm doing, finding a case study that maybe it's Joy's case study or Naomi's case study that is somebody that maybe is in a similar situation where they sold a book, just finding those opportunities to like, hey, I know we talked about this. This is something that I've had happen recently in my network, right? Not sure if this is interesting to you. There's all kinds of things you can do, but those are just a couple examples of what can be done. So anyway, I know it's a little after 9 o'clock here, so we want to kind of wrap up, but I just wanted to really try to, point you in the right direction with some of that. And I think just that energy of like, I'm curious, I'm interested, I'm caring, and then just practicing, practice that with friends and family for a little bit. Like, hey, can you sit down with me for 10 minutes and like I'm gonna act like I'm trying to sell this to you, and you're gonna like kind of respond, and I'm gonna see if I can like come up with some questions, right? Just practice it. If you want to hop on, I'll hop on a call with you at some point. We'll do it, right? We'll just kind of role play and go back and forth, and I can coach you a little bit on like, oh, you could have said this, and that's what I've had happen. I've had mentors share hours of their time with me, coaching me on those little things, and it can make all the difference in knowing how to present yourself in a way that, connects with somebody that doesn't feel like you're trying to sell them and there's no pressure. So utilize the resources, as Elizabeth said, within the group, because we're all here to serve and help you all succeed. So with that, what else do we have to do to wrap up? Okay. So I guess the only other thing I was thinking of is when we were on a month ago, we got really good feedback. So a couple things. One is if there's anything that you took away from tonight, we'd love to have that feedback in the community. If you want to go to, I'll post a recording later tonight or tomorrow from tonight. Actually, I didn't record. I'm going to be in deep weeds for not recording. We didn't record. Okay, I won't be posting the recording. However, if there's anything that you want to share as far as takeaways or cognitions or
Pop the
requests,
champagne.
right?
Exactly.
I thought of it earlier. I need to record and didn't do it. Got so excited to jump in, forgot to hit record. So yeah, if you guys would go on and just share some feedback that helps us, know for that.
It says it does say recording.
Oh, really? Interesting. Hmm. Okay. I'm not sure.
We'll see if there's a recording maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't hit record on my end, so I'm not sure. Maybe somebody has an AI or something. I'm not sure. So that's request number one. Request number two, we've been talking to Joy some, and we're going to be working with her for
Oh.
creating some future things. Um, so, couple of thoughts here, a couple of questions I would like to know from you guys. What would help serve you better? More of these kind of calls in a group scenario where we're talking about like business things or even personal things that are around like what's holding me back and where do I need some help, or doing some energy work like we've done, but maybe in a little more advanced way. Um, Doing things more one-on-one, where we can offer some of that, because we're talking with Joy about how can we put some programs together. They're probably not all going to be free. They'd obviously be, some cost to them, but nothing exuberant, right? But just ways that if you're wanting extra support, extra mentoring, extra coaching, that we can be there to support you guys. So in the chat, we would love to hear, what would be good for you guys. More of these calls focused on one aspect over the other, whether it's more like coaching and mentoring, like we did a little bit with you tonight, Livy, and specific things, or more on like mindset work and how do I work past these emotions, stuff like that. So if you guys could give us a little feedback and like what could we do to serve you guys better, that'll help us as we talk to Joy more. And build out things as time moves along, right? So we've done 3 of these calls now. The second Wednesday of every month is going to be more of this wealth energetics call where it's talking more about, mindset, energy, some principles around how to be more successful. And then the fourth Wednesday of every month is more geared towards finances and like once we start making money, what do we do with the money, and more focused on aligned financial strategies. So any of the feedback that you guys can give us is really good as we design more for the community and are here to serve and help you guys take the next level with all this. So with that though, just reading a couple comments here.
Awesome.
Okay. Like the back and forth, cool, Livy, conversations. Yeah, I enjoy those too. That's how a lot of I've learned on a lot of my trainings over the last few years. You're on a live call with somebody and you're just like we did tonight. Like you're just going back and forth, giving examples, because then everybody else learns too. They're learning through you. So thank you for sharing that. Thank you for bringing that up because that helps everybody else learn here. Whether it's applicable to them right now or in a month from now or a year from now, everybody's gaining because you were bold enough to say, "Hey, I need help with this. What's your thoughts?" And we can role play, and everybody, I saw several people like, oh, shaking their head like, yes, okay. And I know how I've been in those scenarios. Like when you learn through somebody else, you're like, hey, I've been there too. I have those questions. I wasn't maybe open to sharing them, but I have the answers now. I know what to do if I'm in that same situation. So um, that's good stuff. So maybe something for people who are coming from poverty. Okay. Yep, that's a big one. That's definitely a big one. Well, thank you, Scott. Appreciate that. Okay. All right. Well, I appreciate it, guys. Again, we'll be on here again in 2 weeks, talking more line financial strategies as well. If you think of anything in the meantime, either that you guys want help with, reach out to us in the community. Any questions around anything we talked about tonight or anything else you think of, we're here for you guys. So feel free to reach out to us in the community. And then, what was the other thing I was going to say? I don't know, left me. But other than that, have a good night. Anything final departing words for you, my dear?
I don't think so. The only thing I was wondering is, as a Alexandria, you said doing the practice. Do you want to specify like what the practice is? Are you talking like the energetic practices, or are you talking like the business, like role playing? What specifically were you looking for? You are so welcome, everyone. We love it. Thank you so much. I'll give her just a minute to see if she goes back up. Okay, role play. Okay,
Yep.
good to know.
Okay. Yep. Absolutely good to know. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Those are good things. And if you're ever in a scenario, this is one thing that's really helpful. If you're ever in a scenario where the other party that you're talking to is willing to like hop on a Zoom and you can record the Zoom, those are the best ways that like on a one-on-one, we can, if you're even willing to do it in a group setting, for us to go through that and break that down and say, okay, here's where we can tweak here. I would say this instead of this. That's been super helpful for me. So those are areas that we could do for you to help with that, the role playing and stuff. But we can maybe try to fit that into more of this because it is very beneficial. And having conversation skills, guys, is one of the highest skill sets you can have. If you know how to have a conversation with somebody and you can lead them towards a direction, towards a solution, and there's a sale at the end of that, or even if there's not, like just just that is such a powerful skill. So I mean, sales is the highest paid profession on the planet. I mean, there's salespeople that make crazy money. So just being able to have a conversation with somebody and lead them towards something, because at the end of the day, selling is leadership, right? It's caring about somebody, it's learning about them, identifying where they're going in their life and maybe where the gap is between where they're at, where they want to go. And if you have a solution for them that can help them, that's alignment. And in my opinion, we have a moral and ethical obligation, if it's on our heart, to share it with people and sell it, and the other person needs it to get them to where they want to go from where they're at. That's a beautiful connection. That's alignment, right? So that's a magical process. So the better that we can get in serving that dynamic through conversation, we're doing really good work, right? So that's a powerful thing to keep in mind. That it's not persuasion, it's not influence, it's not overcoming objections, it's serving people with alignment. So keeping that in mind is a powerful thing, and developing those conversation skills so that we know how to, oh, how are you trying to sell your book? Tell me more about your book, right? All those kind of things just helps that whole process. So with that, I will wrap up for tonight. If any of you else didn't get to share tonight, do have anything, feel free to post them in the community. We'd love to interact with you on there. Now that we're done with our move and her traveling and my event, hopefully we'll be a little more back to active in the community as well. I'd like to check in with you guys every week and just see where you guys are at and where you need help, and stuff like that. So if any of you had anything you want to share tonight, feel free to post it over there. With that, we'll sign off for tonight. Have a great rest of your week, everyone, and we'll catch you guys here in 2 weeks on the Aligned Wealth Strategies call. So take care, guys. Have a good night.
Have a wonderful night.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
Oh, these are pretty.
I wonder if somebody.
There's
Oh,
a lot of that.
I did do that, didn't I?
Mhm.
Sweet. Okay, cool. It did record. All right, I'm not in deep weeds.
She loved deep weeds.
All right, we're signing off now that we know we recorded. I can sleep well tonight. Take care, everybody.